And the heavy rain continues here on Galveston Island, and it's going to get heavier. I'll tell you why and show you why in just a moment on a live report from the seawall in Galveston.
Flooding rains may travel rough in parts of the Carolinas. Find out where heavy rain could snarl traffic today.
The strong storms that brought tornadoes to parts of Minnesota head east. And we'll show you where they're headed next. And good morning and welcome to this edition of Weather Center. I'm Mark Mancuso.
And I'm Melissa Barrington. Thanks for joining us. And we begin with Hurricane Claudette.
And our storm is lashing the Texas coast with strong winds and very heavy rain and coastal flooding. Here's the very latest for you. You see the infrared satellite picture, and you can see right on the central part of the Texas coast, right around the reds and orange, there's an area where not much is happening. That's the eye. It's making a landfall right now. Maximum sustained winds now up to 80 miles an hour. Expect strongest winds the next 1 to 2 hours as Claudette moves inland here. And with our storm making its move onshore, the hurricane warnings have been adjusted just a little bit from Baffin Bay up to High Island, Texas. And we also have a small area of tropical storm warnings in effect here in Texas from High Island to Sabine Pass. But all the tropical storm warnings have been discontinued on the Louisiana coast. But along the coast, we do have a lot of problems with extremely heavy rain and the flooding of the coastal roads.
We want to continue our hurricane coverage with Claudette and meteorologist Jim Cantori, who is live in Galveston, Texas.
Jim, what's it looking like with those winds, and how about the high water coming on in?
Well, Mark, the water, first of all, the water is not as bad as it was. You can see on a nice day here in Galveston, you can walk all the way out on these bricks and through here. Now, this morning, you could not see any of these. The water was crashing up against the seawall and spraying up another 10 to 15 feet. So we have definitely improved our sea conditions big time. We've also noticed, too, the winds have gone from northeast to straight on shore now. So that's going to be more southeast with the way that Galveston Island is oriented. Now, Galveston Island is about 7 miles long. But if you go down from here 2 to 3 miles, I want to show you some pictures here, because you basically go from Seawall Boulevard to what they call 3005. And unfortunately, there's no seawall down there. So what happens is all that water comes in and just sits over the roads, and they get some coastal flooding there. It happens a lot. We saw it happen last year in Fay when I was here, and it certainly is going to happen with a hurricane. Now, winds, as far as what we've seen, Mark, hurricane force gusts, no, we haven't seen anything like that at all. We've seen more of a frothy Gulf of Mexico than anything else. Our max sustained, or max gust, I should say, has been 56 miles an hour. But offshore, tremendous rain coming into the band here, so the heavy rain is going to be an issue here probably for the next 30 minutes or so. Let's get a confirmation on that. Dr. Steve Lyons, our hurricane expert. Steve, I was noticing on your tropical update there, it looks like a pretty intense band of rain coming this way. Can you confirm that for me, please?
Jim, you're still in for some wet weather over the next few hours. Let's show you the latest radar imagery, and that'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. First of all, I put Jim's name there. He's sitting in Galveston. You see still some bands of rain coming in toward the Galveston area. The good news is the circulation is landfalling over here in Matagorda Bay, so the wind is weakening in time where Jim is. And notice also up here some of these heavy rain showers well up north of Houston now. So heavy rain over Houston, but the whole system is moving to the east. Now, Jeff Morrow's down here in the eye at Port O'Connor. Unfortunately, the eye is interfering with our signal, and we can't quite get it. But if we get some information from him, we'll show you what he's going through here. And he's basically at this dot right here. We expect the water to rise there on the order of 5 to 7 feet after the eye passes, when the wind is coming out of the southeast. And these low-lying areas, basically from 0 to 5 feet, are pretty much going to be underwater over the next hour and a half or so as the system moves inland. There you see the circulation moving right into Matagorda Bay there. You can see the winds. Inland, the winds aren't that strong. It's offshore, the winds are a little bit stronger. We've had primarily tropical storm sustained winds and gusts over land, which is good news. But the heavy rainfall is going to be increasing as our track takes it generally westward. We're going to be watching for the potential for increasing flood potential out towards San Antonio and then out toward the Big Bend area over the next 24, 36, 48 hours. So we could see some localized flooding out here, so we'll be back. Melissa?
And Mark here. Thanks a lot, Dr. Steve. And reports of heavy rain already of 1 to 3 inches across parts of southeast Texas. Combine that with the high tides, and we'll see considerable flooding of coastal roads. Flood watches have just been issued for about 6 counties. Now let's check on the weather for the remainder.